Welcome to another edition of Connecting the Dots with Dr. Food. I'm Charlie Arnot, CEO of the Center for Food Integrity, where our mission is to build trust in today's food system. We do that in part by giving you the tools and insights to engage with consumers. Now, joining us today, as he does each month, and we are so grateful for that, is Dr. David Hughes, Professor Emeritus at Imperial College London and a world-renowned expert on all things that have to do with food and beverage. David, welcome once again.
Thank you. Terrific to be with you, Charlie.
Now, David, you're joining us from your home in the UK, which is sometimes unusual, but your country hosted a rather high-profile event recently.
Yes, boom, your president visited us last week, actually, and had a glorious banquet in Windsor Castle with our king and queen. And 160 people, great people, attended. And I guess you could work out if you were great by whether you were sitting next door to them or you were down at 158, 159, 160. Actually, President Trump had really warm words to say for us, which was terrific. We didn't expect that. And then he left us and went straight to New York City for the UN meetings. And then, he scolded us like small children for our lax immigration laws. But that's the way of the man. God love him.
It is indeed. Now, David, speaking of travel, of course, our president traveled over to the UK. Elton John took 3 years for his farewell tour. And I'm not suggesting this is a farewell tour, but Elton John has nothing on you because you have a world tour coming up.
Absolutely. Can't wait, actually, Charlie. It's akin to Jules Verne, the great French author, and his Around the World in 80 Days, except I'm doing it in 30. God love me. I've got an opening talk in London, and then it's Frankfurt, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Melbourne, and then keep heading east through Santiago, capital of Chile, into the middle of Brazil. There's a city called Cuiabá. It's in the state of Mato Grosso. And for those in the US who don't know it, well, that's where the maize and the soybeans and the cattle are produced. And then I carry on to Sao Paulo and then go back to London. So that essentially takes actually most of my October.
Wow. Good for you and travel safely. Come back soon. So this morning, we're going to discuss some emerging trends, including seed oils, how food retailers are promoting sustainability in this evolving world, and the latest cooking trends, especially among Gen Z. All right, we're going to jump right into it with an issue that started here in the US and unfortunately is now affecting farmers in the UK and other parts of the world, and that is the debate about seed oils. What's happening there?
Right. And so we became aware that your health secretary was claiming that people are being it sounded rough, unknowingly poisoned by seed oils. We weren't sure what seed oils were, to be frank, and then found out that they're the hateful eight. There's rapeseed, as we call it, or canola, as you call it, corn, cottonseed, grapeseed, soy, rice, sunflower, and safflower. And actually, in the UK, Charlie, we only produce one, and that's canola, and we're very pleased to do so, and we hope we will continue to do. But there's been such a lot of fuss about seed oils in your market, and it's sort of migrated over to ours. And suddenly, it amazed me, a number of seed oil-free products came on the market, and they tended to be coconut, avocado oils, I guess, and do I pronounce it right? Jojoba. Is it Jojoba? Yes.
I have no idea what that even is, David. So we'll take your pronunciation as being 100% accurate.
What's this about seed oils? I went down to the Zoe app. It's a personalized nutrition and gut health program, which is launched by very well-known scientists from the University of London, of which I've been part and parcel. I wanted to get their view. They've no axes to grind. And they're much followed in the UK. Well, what's their view? Their view is that those vehemently opposed to the use of seed oils are largely spouting, it's not very kind, this, nutribabble. I mean, the thought is that scientific evidence so far suggests that there are actually no dangerous issues associated with seed oils. But, good on Zoe. They said, look, if you believe there is, then just in case you want to avoid seed oils, then switch to olive oil rather than animal fats, which we know can do damage over time. So, what's the link with canola farmers? Well, it's a disastrous double whammy for them. First of all, demand is down for canola oil, which is the product they produce, because of consumer consternation, and it's happened very quickly. And secondly, in the UK and the EU, can I pronounce this one? Neonicotinoids, or neonics, as we know them, which are pesticides, have been banned because of their impact on bees and other pollinators. They're banned on several crops, not least on canola. And the problem is that canola is particularly hurt by the cabbage stem flea beetle. And to bang that on the head, you need neonics. So, in the absence of these neonics, then yields have just been decimated in the UK. UK canola production has fallen by half, and it's reached historic low levels last year, and it doesn't look good for this year. And that's the only oil we can grow. And it made a really big difference to arable farmers. It was a great sort of cash crop for them. And now it's, in the reverse. And we'll miss the yellow tinge to our countryside, frankly.
Truly tragic. We're seeing a number of impacts on agriculture and those who produce seed oils in soy and corn in the U.S. because of the tariffs and the challenge to trade. But now, of course, you're seeing it in the UK as well with consumer demand and pushback because of the alleged health challenges. But David, I'm old enough to remember when McDonald's switched from animal fat. They used to fry their fries in beef tallow, which was delicious, but they switched to seed oil, much to consumers' chagrin, because the American Heart Association and others said it's healthier for you to go to polyunsaturated fat. And that's the way the industry has been going for some period of time. I know in talking with folks from the National Restaurant Association and their members, the potential loss of seed oils is a significant concern to restaurants because you can't fry anything. You can't make salad oil. It's difficult to bake. So many things you cannot do in a restaurant if you do not have access to seed oils. So we'll see how that one plays out. Normally, your challenges migrate our direction. So I apologize for this one migrating over to you. So we're going to switch gears now over to the retail scene. One retailer in particular who has a new plan to work with farmers to increase sustainability, which I find really interesting because historically farmers have said, we will do whatever you want us to do as long as you pay us to do it. So tell us what's happening.
Well, this is about M&S, as we call it, which is Marks and Spencers. They've got a plan A for farming. And M&S, just to give you a quick background, it started life in Leeds in the north of England. Oh, what, about 140 years ago, 1884. It has about a 5% national grocery market share, but it's a very special share. We tend to go to M&S for treats, for something special. And so to a degree, it's like a mini Whole Foods. Anyway, if we went back, 18 years ago, they launched Plan A for the environment, essentially. They call it Plan A because there's no Plan B, particularly when it comes to saving the planet and its resources. And they've cut food waste in store by more than half in the last 3 years, for example. And so last month, they launched Plan A specifically for farming. Look, they work with 10,000 British farmers. And they're on their side. That's their view, anyway. Much liked by farmers, I might say. And they've called on government to set a legally binding target to increase the proportion of food that we produce in Britain. Remember, we're only about 60% self-sufficient in food. And so farmers say we need to up this. And M&S are saying, why not? What's in Plan A for farming? First of all, they're going to source 100% of anything they sell in beef, chicken, pork, and milk. It will be British and only British. They're providing funding for farmers to increase, this phrase again, regen practices by 2030. And 100% of Marks and Spencer's British products will come from farms using regen practices by 2030. They're also upping the environmental and animal welfare standards, which are already high, but even higher for beef and milk in partnership with the farmers. And what's more, they're providing finance to encourage innovation in farm, particularly, again, related to sustainable production. And what's more,
Interesting.
and very important to farmers, they're developing and issuing longer term contracts with farmer suppliers to encourage on farm investment. I'd mentioned, incidentally, that M&S is a bit like Whole Foods, but we have Whole Foods in the UK, but actually they have 6 stores. They've been here for the better part of 20 years and they don't do well. They've lost millions over that 20-year period. And Amazon, of course, who own Whole Foods, also have till-free Amazon Fresh stores in the UK, and they have closed all of those down. They've taken 6 of the 19 that they're closing down, and they're converting them into mini Whole Foods. I doubt that that's going to make a big difference to the success of Whole Foods. In the UK, we have 3 much loved premium supermarkets: Marks and Spencer's, as I mentioned, Waitrose, and then the Waitrose of the North, as we know it, which is Booths. And so for most people, they would have no clue about Whole Foods. It just doesn't have, there's not enough stores around the country to
Yeah.
create.
David, I think one of the things that I find most encouraging and impressive about what M&S is doing is the long-term contracts. Because as you know, it takes farmers more than 1 year or more than one season, oftentimes, to deploy regen or other kind of practices that change what's happening on the farm. And oftentimes during that transition period, there's a drop in yield. So those long-term contracts give farmers the incentive and the assurance that they can recoup that investment once it's made. Okay, our final topic today. We know that dining out and cooking at home has been changed significantly since the pandemic. It continues to evolve rather, driven in part by inflation. So what's happening in the UK?
Right. Okay. First of all, we're top of the league, Charlie, but unfortunately, it's the inflation league. So we're forecast to have the highest rate of inflation in G7 advanced countries, and it's driven, as I've said, for the last 2, 3, 4 months, by a spike in food prices, and it's the same culprits, if you will: beef, chocolate, butter, coffee, etc. And it's having a profound impact on household food shopping behavior. I was looking at a very recent a September survey, and they asked a series of questions which started off: in the past month, have you switched to cheaper brands? 40% said yes. Reduced the amount of food bought, or have you skipped meals? And again, a high 40% said yes.
Wow.
Changed what I cook to save money? 30%. Put items back because they seemed a good idea, but they're just a little bit too expensive, 25%. And what's more, 1/5, 20% said that they were switching supermarkets. In our case, that means 2 discounters in particular. And 40% have cut back on eating out. And actually, we noticed that, we being me and my younger son, we have 3 restaurants and 3 pubs, and it's hard work at the moment, dear Lord. But it struck me, does this mean if people are staying at home, does it mean increase in scratch cooking? And not quite. It's just not happening. Why? Look, the UK has been long leading in ready meals, and often ready
Mhm.
meals don't get a good press, but actually, incidentally, they're dominated by supermarket private label, and they're going barnstormingly well at the moment. And middle class households are looking for meal deals, particularly on premium ready meals and premium meat components, the meat with the sauce, etc. And they're using this for special meals for the family, or if they're having a few friends around. M&S, back to Marks and Spencer's, they're famous for this, and they have their own label premium meals, and they work in association with celebrity chefs. Waitrose, as I mentioned, another premium retailer. In fact, 2 nights ago, Susan and I had Parmigiano Reggiano and truffle sauce, and it was yum yum. It was delicious. So they're delicious and they're restaurant quality, but it just puts a hole in the food service market. Yes, that's the way it is. But moving on, another change is how we get information about cooking. I
Mhm.
mean, cooking shows on TV, they were all the rage, and now they are sharply declining. In 2019, or 6 years ago now, over 100 cooking shows were airing in the UK. In 2024, it had dropped down to 24, and this year
Mm.
we've only seen 12 new show episodes. Why? Well, 2 reasons. The first is a little dark, frankly. It's a string of high-profile scandals in which the lead celebrity chefs have behaved really inappropriately with female staff, and that got a lot of coverage in the tabloids. But number two, Gen Z are abandoning TV for social media to find recipe inspirations elsewhere. So, what's their preferred delivery mechanism for recipe inspirations? No surprise for me, anyway, I'm sure for you. Short form videos. A half-hour celebrity cooking program is just too long for them. If they want something, they want it right now. Thank you very much. And then if you look at YouTube, food and beverage on YouTube is now the fourth largest category on YouTube overall, for goodness sake. It's pushed out by fashion and beauty, etc. But in the UK, YouTube food and bev has increased 32% year on year. There are 674 food and beverage channels on YouTube. And I mean, this must be globally. There were 457 billion views on food and beverage content in the last year. I mean, it's amazing, really. Good Lord.
Yeah, well, David, I still believe in speaking in full sentences, but I know in terms of text, I would simply say TYD. So that would be thank you, David. We appreciate your presence as always. And very safe travels, my friend. We look forward to catching up with you again next time for the fastest 15 minutes in food on November the 6th. So plan to join us then with Dr. David Hughes. Until then, be safe. Have a great time. David, safe travels. We'll catch you in November.
Thank you, Charlie. Cheerio.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye now.